and this is really going to help you out when you study the skull because it has a whole bunch of holes. Foramen means hole. Was there a hole today? Yeah. Okay, I forgot what it was. All right, the next one, the body. So this part is the body.
Okay.
The body of the vertebrae is this part.
So it's just below the whole.
Oh, okay. Think of it like this. And so here's the vertebral foramen. This is where all the nerves and blood supplies will go through. And then here's the body. Yeah. And the next one is the spinous process. This part right here that comes out and juts out, that's the spinous process. The next one is the pedicle and the lamina. I forgot which one's which. Thanks. So the pedicle is kind of like the walls, and the lamina is the top part. It's the ceiling. So here's the pedicles. It's on the side, and here's the lamina. Here's the top. And this whole part, this whole part, like think of it as the roof of the vertebrae. That's the lamina. Here's the pedicle. And I'm gonna skip a little bit and go directly down to the bottom, vertebral arch. Vertebral arch is this, but some books might say one thing and another book might say another thing.
Point out again.
Okay, this part right here is the vertebral arch,
Okay.
but some books say this whole circle is considered the vertebral arch. That's not the hole itself, but the whole circle. And then some books just say it's this one right here, so I'll have to specify which one's which. But here, those are the pedicles, and not just the inside, but this whole outside part too. So this whole circle is the pedicle, and it says that on the book. Oh, it doesn't do this, but I think in one of your this book does it say that? No, it doesn't give you that either. Okay, but this whole around this right here, this whole thing is the pedicle. All right. Next one is the transverse process. Okay, so here's your vertebrae, and when it comes out to the sides, those are the transverse process. So these are the transverse process, these ones right here. These ones right here.
Is
Next.
it both? Like.
Yeah, they're both the transverse process. And every vertebrae should have them, but sometimes the lumbar is much shorter like this. Almost everyone. The atlas and axis will have to be discussed a little bit later. All right, and then finally you have the superior articular facet and the inferior articular facet and the intervertebral foramen. Okay, well, let's go over the superior articular facets. All right, see this part right here? So this part right here, this part right here, this flat part of the vertebrae, and there's two of them. These are the superior articular facets, and they articulate like this. The bottom parts right here, these are the inferior articular facets. So they both connect like that.
Got it.
So superior
So
articular.
it's this right
Yeah, these flat surface, the one that's superior, that's going to be the superior articular facets. And facets means like the flat end. And then the inferior one. Now the last one is the intervertebral foramen. Intervertebral means in between the foramen. So you have two vertebrae. Where's my stick? This hole right here, that's the intervertebral foramen. This hole right here, that's the intervertebral foramen. It is the hole in between the two vertebrae. Any questions?
Yeah. Can you say everything you said?
Yeah, you can play that back. All right. Now let's go over to the more specialized vertebrae. You have the atlas, axis, dens, and the transverse foramen of the cervical vertebrae. There should be a specific. No, there should be an atlas and an axis that's both that's connected together, but I don't see that right here. So we're gonna have to use this one. Here, you pause the video for a second. Right.
I'll put your full lamina.
How does a Benjamin do?
I'll put your
What does a Benjamin do?
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you got cervical vertebrae, and the C1. The C1 is this one, but it's this bone right here. That's the C1. And if you look at the skeleton, that's also the very first one is called the C1. And the next bone down is going to be the C2, cervical 1 and cervical 2. Cervical 1 is pretty cool because it doesn't have a body. Look at that. So that right there, normally where you see the body, there is no body on the C1, or not as you would normally think. Instead, you have this thing right here, known as the dens, or odontoid process. Either way will work. Most people put dens for some odd reason, I don't know. And the second part right here is the C2. So atlas is the first one, axis is the second one. So atlas C1, axis C2. Then the dens or the odontoid process is on C2. The also special feature about all of the cervical vertebrae is that it has what's called the transverse foramen. We talked about the transverse process in this vertebrae, no, not this one, and this one. But for the cervical ones, you have holes right here, holes on the transverse process. So this one, which isn't a C1 or C2, but you know that this is a cervical vertebrae because it has transverse foramen. The thoracic vertebrae, T1 to T12, and I probably should use a skeleton, but it's okay. Okay, this is probably a very good transverse, not transverse. What's this vertebrae called? Thoracic? Foramen means hole, yeah, foramen means hole. Anytime you hear the word foramen, think hole. Okay, now for thoracic vertebrae, what's cool about this one is that's where all the ribs attach to. So thoracic always has an articulation point where a rib will attach to, right here. And you should look at the skeleton to see where it's been attached to. But unlike the superior articular facet and the inferior articular facets where it combines two different vertebrae, the facets and demifacets are on the body of the thoracic. It's gonna be on the body of the thoracic. And not all of them are gonna have full facets. None all of them are gonna be demifacets. So you're gonna have to look at the book. You have to look at the book. That one. Right here, where it talks about the thoracic vertebrae, and you can look at the particular demifacets or facets. Some of them, when it means demifacets, it means half a facet. So when it has two of them, it will be a demifacet. The one on the top, right here, you can see its jutation right here. That will be the superior articular demifacet. And then at the bottom, and it's probably not as well defined, will be a inferior demifacets. So superior demifacets, inferior demifacets. But for those ones, I would most likely just take facets or demifacets and at least superior or inferior if I can actually show it to you. You guys can actually you should be able to tell if it's either superior or inferior, but it'll be hard to tell if it's if it's a facet or demifacet, unless you have two thoracic vertebrae combined together. But yeah, I don't want to test you on that level of knowledge. You will have to be like a forensic anthropologist to know the difference.
I thought the demifacet was always on the body.
It is on the body.
The facet is always on the transverse process.
Someone say he's wrong.
Hey, you're wrong.
Huh?
You're wrong.
He really
Like
sold
a
it. Yeah,
walnut?
he really sold that. Okay, and then there's the lumbar vertebrae. The lumbar vertebrae has a big body and a short spinous process compared to the thoracic vertebrae, which has a smaller body and a long spinous process. And there's other information that you guys can look up at the difference between a thoracic vertebrae and a lumbar vertebrae and a thoracic vertebrae. The ones that is probably the most difficult one to distinguish is like the T12 and the L1. The T12 and it's like right in between. It might be hard to tell, but you guys can handle that.
The T12 should have a facet for the
Yeah, they should have a
rib.
facet.
Even in the female, right?
Yeah. So this has a facet, so this will be definitely. But there's going to be some thoracic vertebrae that's going to be hard to distinguish if it's thoracic or lumbar. But the way you can tell if it has a demifacet, then it has to be a thoracic vertebrae. Pause it now. I'm gonna. Okay. All right. The superior articular facets, just like all the vertebrae, is this part right here, and it's going to be where the lumbar vertebrae attaches to, right here. Then you have the anterior sacral promontory. Okay, so anterior, this is the front part, sacral promontory, and it's like this part right here. This part right here is the anterior sacral promontory.
Like the ridge?
Um,
The whole.
it's just this part right here. It's not just the ridge, but like this part right here. Because it's kind of like juts out a little bit, but it's not, but the ridge is much more protruding out. All right, the median and lateral sacral crest. So if you look at the posterior end This is the median sacral crest. See this line right here? And you have the lateral sacral crest right here. It's not as prominent as the medial, but median in the middle, lateral on the sides. So median lateral sacral crest. Fine. Moving on, sacral canal is this part right here. Is this hole? It's going down. And sacral hiatus is this hole right here. And the sacral hiatus could also be like this portion right here. Sacral canal, sacral hiatus. But sacral canal can actually go, it should be going all the way down. And sacral hiatus is just like this opening right here. What's the next one? Auricular surface. Where is the auricular surface? I'll skip that one for, oh no, okay. So if you guys remember the auricular surface of the pelvic bones, and you have this part right here is also the auricular surface, and they both share the same surface. That's why it's called the auricular surface for this one also. So if you guys can look at the skeleton and see how it fits together at the auricular surface end right here.
So it's like the S shape.
This you can see like it feels like something should be attached right there. That would be the auricular surface, and it's not like smooth like the rest part of the bone right here. What's the next one? Anterior sacral foramen and posterior sacral foramen. Okay, so remember, like if it's a hole, you think foramen, and this one's it's pretty funky, but if it's from the front, it's called anterior sacral foramen. But if you look at it from the back, then it's a posterior sacral foramen. Same hole, but it has a different name depending on which direction you're pointing at. So this one's anterior, this one's posterior.
Got it.
I bet that would probably confuse people. And the sacral cornu. So you see the sacral hiatus right here, and then this part is the sacral cornu. It's on the sides right here. Like, see how it's jutting out? And the reason why I didn't want to use this one because the sacral cornu is not very visible, or it's not very distinguishable compared to this one.
So is it part of the medial?
No, this is the medial, and this is the lateral.
Okay.
Okay, and then boom, and somehow you got like a hole right here. That's the hiatus. You can pause that.